The first thing that you want to do before you start designing your base is you want to start off with a clean slate. You want to get everything moved out of the way so you can set your core up. Now, basically what this entails moving everything out to the outside perimeters of your base. And this will give you, like I said, this will give you an ample opportunity to get everything centered up in your base the way that you want to. Okay, what I'm showing here is just basically a base that's got everything scrunched out against the outside edges of the area. Another thing that you want to do whenever you start doing your base, you want to figure out where you want your command center to be placed at. My personal preference is to have them centered inside of the base. I know there's plenty of arguments for doing them off on one corner or another corner, but in my experience, having them in the center of your base makes any attacking units have to travel the maximum distance to get to your command center, and that's more time that they can be getting pounded on by your guns and by your defending units. Now, basically, what you want to do, if you really want to be, you can do like I'm going to show you here. You can basically just eyeball it in and get it where it's fairly centered. Or one fact that everybody might not know about base design is that a standard size unexpanded base in War Commander is 48 by 60 blocks wide. And how do I know this? Because whenever I was putting together this little presentation, I actually laid the blocks out, and that's another way that you can get if you want your command center to be centered in your base, that's another way that you can go about doing that. But in the meantime, also learn that a standard size base is 48 by 60 blocks. Now, keep in mind, if Kixeye would one day break down and give us a base planner, you wouldn't really have to do all this. If they give us something like we had in Backyard Monsters, that would be really nice. But if you really want to find out what the center point of your base is, since you can't look on your base planner and see the little X in the middle of your little drafting grid there, then you can actually do the blocks and find the true center of your base. Now, one of the most important things about building a base is the core of the base. Now, it's a subject of debate on storage buildings, but basically resources are still easy to come by. I mean, you can go out and farm and get stuff as you need it and use it as you need it. If you find the need to squirrel away some stuff, for future use where people can't touch it, then you can hide your resources in upgrades, and whether it's going in the defense lab and starting to upgrade a turret that you might not want to use. For example, I've got level 4 Hellstorm turrets or Hellfire turrets, and right now they're upgrading to level 5, but they will never reach that. Why? Because I can store 25 and 20 million of each resource in that, and it can't be touched. If I get attacked and get bubbled and I need resources, I can stop that upgrade and have resources that people can't touch. But basically what you want to do is you want to start out with your command center in the center or close to the center of your base, or wherever you want to build your core at. Excuse me. What I'm showing here is I'm showing the center of this particular base, and I'm showing a storage depot being used as a spacer for a future or sometime in the future when this person earns a drone silo, and then I'm showing the command center slightly off center of the base. In my opinion, this is a good starting point, because you want your command center and you want your drone silo to be centered as close to the base as you possibly can, and you want that to be the center part of your core. Now, once you get those placed, your next step is to the next, in my opinion, the next most important item that you can put in your core are your power plants. You want to have you want to keep your power plants where they're not all bunched together, because that way they don't all get wiped out in one hit. So you want to try to offset them around your command center or spread them out in the core of your base. What this does, this makes somebody have to go through more trouble to get more than one or two of your power plants. Okay, and once you decide where you want your power plants at, the next natural step in it is to start putting your core buildings that you want in there. Like I had covered earlier, you want to try to keep your thorium inside of the core of your base, because right now thorium is the crack rock of War Commander.
Amen.
That is the most precious, and especially with all these new units, we're really going to start having a whole lot more people who wants to take your thorium, and you don't want them to take your thorium because it's not real easy to go out and go get. Now, one way you can do it is like I'm showing here. You can have your core design keeping it more compressed. Now, basically, this is one with with more buildings that are able to be fit into the core of your base, but it doesn't. By the time you add your guns, you're not going to get as good of an overlap of fire from your guns, so you don't have as good a protection. Now, even though you see storage buildings in here, generally I don't keep storage buildings in the core of my base. And like I said, it's because you can, resources are quick and easy to go out and go get. But in this particular case, I'm using them as spacers, because a lot of the other stuff that you might want to put in there is the same size as the storage buildings. It's 6 blocks by 6 blocks. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. I'm in this picture, I'm showing an alternative core design that has less buildings in it, but this is a whole lot tighter as far as the defense goes. But you notice that the go-go bars in there, because you want to keep your strippers safe.
Mm-hmm.
And I've got the metal depot or metal deposit in there, metal storage, holding a spot for the drone silo that I will put in there. And also notice that, of course, the thorium is inside. Now, you can keep one or two. It's up to you how you want to build it. And in my opinion, you can keep a couple of your storage inside of it to help protect some of your resources. But like I said, it's smarter to keep resources hid in upgrades. That's why that, like I said, that people can't get that from you. They can stop your upgrades, but they can't get the resources that you've that you're keeping in there. But once you get your base, the core of your base lined out, then of course you start adding your guns around it, and your towers, your bunkers, everything like that. This is the current core design on my base at this time, and it's pretty tough. Notice that I've got a variety of different types of turrets in there. I don't have all the same thing. I have the drone silo is centered in the core, and I've actually got that little open space next to the core. That is where my rally point for my units coming out of my storage building, they actually stop in that area, because that puts them into the center of the base, but it leaves them open where I can actually grab them and then send them out to go attack something. But we'll talk a little bit more on different episodes of this about different tips and tactics as far as the types of units that you put in your base and, you know, hiding units and everything like that. But pretty much running out of time this time, so guess I'm going to go ahead and let it go. Back to you, Data.
Yeah, that's
the quietest
pretty much
I've ever seen you bunch.
No, that was, you know, that's some good information though. You know what I mean? That gives you a good.
That was a barrage.
A good platform to really get